everybody's had a great day today. There's so many great presentations, and like I both feel like happy that I get to be last, but also just that like there are a lot of hard acts to follow, I suppose. But I don't know. I feel good. So anyways, I would like to begin my presentation first by acknowledging that this is the traditional territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit River and Haudenosaunee peoples, and that what I am trying to make here is a decolonial project, and I hope that it can do some work in that direction. But what I have made, what I am kind of making sort of still, is a movie. It's pretty interesting, I suppose. I'm not sure if it's exactly right to call it a movie. You could call it a sort of video essay if you wanted to as well. It is movie length. At the right now with the cut that I've submitted, it's 72 minutes long. So that is movie length, I will be showing you hopefully like a few minutes of the beginning at the end of it, at the end of this if I have time. And I don't know if there'll be sound, but we'll see. There'll at least be pictures, moving pictures. Yay. I'm going to talk about like how I got to this point, like why I decided to make a movie, what the movie's about, of course, like the style of it. I'll talk about like what I'm interested in and what I want to study. I'll talk about the project in general and also things related to the purposes of this class and public humanities in general. And yeah. So anyways, first of all, I will say that like yes, when I first joined this class of English 799 or whatever, like I learned that we had to do a public humanities project. I like immediately what I thought of doing is like making some sort of video project, and like the reason why I wanted to do that is because that I've been making YouTube videos like for about like I made my first like 16 years ago, and like when I was 12. These are all like these are my most popular videos I made a long time ago of video games I used to play, and I got like thousands of views at one point. I'm not saying this to brag. I'm just saying like this is why it came to me.
You're more successful than us at 12.
You're an influencer, Mick.
Yeah, I was like an influencer at 12 or whatever. I'm not capitalized on it because I was like I don't care, but yeah. Yeah. So and actually this video right here is actually a project that I made for school where I talked about Polynesia, and I talked about how the Polynesians populated the Polynesian islands. So this in some ways this is my first public humanities project, which I made when I was 13 or so. So yeah, and then I took a break for a long time from making videos. I didn't do that, and I was focusing on other things or whatever. And then when the pandemic hit. I had just, as you all remember, it was March, and I'll always remember that I was studying at U of T, and on the Thursday, it was announced like, okay, school's going to be closed, classes are canceled, pandemic or whatever. But they announced that would start on the Monday, so people with Friday classes still went to Friday class, and I had a Friday class. So I went there. And it was my English class, and I only had one English class in my first year, and it was still among the best English classes I've ever taken. It was just very good. And the professor like walked on stage, and he was just like, "So I guess this will be the last time I'm seeing you all." And it was very moving. And anyways, what the point of this is that after that, I just kind of like I wanted more. I wanted to learn more. I felt like things have been cut short a bit. So then that summer I made 3 video essays. That were on different topics. One is on Lolita, which I read and talked about from a feminist point of view, thinking about it in that way. And then I made one about Joker, the 2019 movie, and then one about Click, the Adam Sandler film. Very diverse topics, but yeah. So that's what and then afterwards in the fall, school went back on, and I got busy again, so I didn't make anything anymore. But I was like, okay, it's been a while, and I want to try to do something like this again. So I haven't done anything except write papers and do presentations for years, and want to try this again. So that's why I kind of went to the sort of movie thing. Okay, one second. Let's get this out again. Okay, so. So from there, okay, so I made a movie or a video essay, whatever you want to call it. What is it? It's a sort of a documentary, or like it's a sort of thing where I spend time, there's time where I talk to the camera, I talk about and there's also a lot of shots that I filmed in nature or in the city, just going around and filming things. And the main thing about it is that I wanted to do something where it was a sort of essay sort of thing rather than an immersive experience where involving actors or whatever, because that with this I didn't want it to be that I was just presenting something and telling you all myself or whatever. I wanted it to be I wanted to do that, but I also wanted to at the same time make it a learning experience for myself, and that while I was writing it and as I was learning about it, that felt more of an authentic learning experience to present it in that way, rather than to do all that work and then to try to show it as some sort of film scripted movie with sequences and whatnot. So and actors. So this way the movie is called the telemovie is called How to Short Circuit Hypermodernity, and the subtitle is an autodidactic documentary, because, and I'm calling autodidactic because that I am teaching myself as I'm making it, and then also using the experience of what I got from learning about it to hopefully teach the rest of you and teach people in general, not just the people in this room, hopefully. Now I'll tell you what the movie's about. It is chiefly about these two books. This is, first of all, J.G. Ballard's The Atrocity Exhibition. This is a book that was written in 1970 originally, and it was re-released in this magazine format in 1990 by the author himself. He did a lot of annotations and got an illustrator to update it. And then this is a 2017 work of poetry by Joshua Whitehead that's called Full Metal Indigiqueer. Let me see, I have something written about this. So yeah, I've discovered, these two works are things I've been thinking about for years and years. I discovered another work of J.G. Ballard's Crash just on accident when I was a teenager, and I was raptured by it. I thought it was super interesting, and then I read some of his other books, and then I heard about this, but then I didn't get around to reading it because there were no stores had it. Eventually, I ordered it in the fall. And then similarly with this book, in fall 2020, I read a few poems of it for a class that I had in the fall 2020, but I skipped the actual class, and so I had no idea what the actual content of it was. It was just here, have some poems, and I was just oh, well, these are great. I wonder what she talks about them, and I still don't know, but yeah. Anyways, so what these two texts are about is that the Atrocity Exhibition is about it's an sort of experimental novel / short story collection. Is in that it's hard to tell if the characters are actual. It's hard to tell if they're chapters or different short stories, because they share characters, and at the end of most of the chapters, most of the characters die, and then they're back in the next chapter. So is it different realities? Is it just is it different episodes of a TV show or something? What's happening here? It doesn't really make sense. But the point of it, the point of it all is abstraction. It's about the abstracting of reality in that time, and thinking about where does that go? The thinking of as modern thinking very much sped up in the 60s, and things turned in hyper-modern directions. J.G. Ballard wanted to say, okay, that's interesting. If I take this as far as possible, where does that go? And so that's what he's exploring with this book. I'm going to pass this around as I talk for it. Also, content warning for like there's violence, sex. There's a lot of provocative images, I'll say, in that one. And then I very much, even though they're from very different time periods, I always thought that Full Metal Indigiqueer was like this in some way because it also explores like how colonization, capitalism, colonialism, etc. How it's like how it has like how it's also like made things like modern and then like hyper modern and like very much over rationalized everything and taken things from and taken like previously like a continent has made Turtle Island into a place that is very different than it once was and much more like and part of this global world rather than this specific place or whatever. And so I think it's like and I feel like these themes are fairly shared just in different ways. And that one, the Trotsky Exhibition has a lot less hope than this book. In that one, it just kind of goes like, okay, we're abstracting it. Okay, everybody's dead and nothing matters, and that's it or whatever. So that's one. And while this one is much more just like, okay, once everything is abstracted, and once we see like how a lot of things just don't matter, then like what's beyond that? Okay, what's beyond that is we want sort of like there to be a revolution and this indigiqueer revolution that one imagines. So very different outcomes. I'm going to pass this one around too. Also, same warning for violent words and sex. It aren't as many provocative images, but there are some still. So yeah. Anyways, let me see. Okay, so and why I think this is relevant, why I want to focus on these in the first place and present them is because that like I really think that like the time of the 60s and into the 1970s where things were modernity began to where things began to become accelerated and there was modernism and then postmodernism became a thing in the 60s and it was very much like it's just this sort of questioning of meaning and this sort of like flattening of everything you very much see like in a different way now, but in a way that like is a lot less challenged in some ways. Like it is challenged very much so, but there's a lot more of an apathy behind it, and there's a lot more people who like and there are people who just like not just technology controls everything now. We're very much living in this like very this life where we're just swimming in it. We can't get out of it or whatever. And I think that drawing the parallels between now and the 60s is just like, and the 60s, 70s era is like something that's like very important and what I want to focus on or whatever. Anyways, what I learned a lot from English 799 when I was doing this. Like a lot of things that I can talk about, like how I was able to, like, when Lorraine York and Daniel Coleman came in, I knew that I wanted to like do something with this. I wanted to like make something that wasn't like empty words, and I wanted to make something that I could apply or whatever. And I remember going also to the class with Beverly Bain, how she emphasized that like I wanted to make something where like it wasn't like yeah, things are bad, but like it's okay, it'll all be okay, but like the wanting to break stuff and to make things and to do a revolution of a sort was just like that very much resonated with me also. And then lastly, the sort of metaphor of what I think maybe Jiang brought up of a layered road. Did you bring that up, or was it somebody else? I don't know. It was some random metaphor that somebody had of a layered road with like things being built up on top of one another. I really like that metaphor. Yes. Palimpsest is another way of talking about it. But like the roads feature a lot in the Trotsky Exhibition and Ballard's work, and just like the thing of like that even this sort of surface that like things are driven on every day, there's like history to it, and you just have to read into it and whatnot. So, anyways, that was, so like, that was a bit rambly or whatever, but I wanted to see if I could show some of this movie so I could actually see what I was, so you can see what I was getting at or whatever. Let me just see if I can pull some of it up. I do not know what the situation is with sound. We'll just have to find out. I can definitely play it on my computer, but we'll see. Okay, well, it seems like, okay, I'm gonna see how loud this is. Okay, not super loud yet. I'll just play like the first like 5 minutes, we'll say.
LA.